If you'd like to try a different way of starting your crochet pieces, one that saves a little time working the foundation chain and the first row together, then let me show you the foundation stitch. This is the first in a series of 3 videos, and in this video we'll learn the single crochet foundation stitch. So in these 2 samples you'll see the way that is most common used, which is creating the chain and then working into it on your way back. So you end up with this very pretty weave of loops. But that's the original way of doing it. And then this one is where you're working the foundation across. So there's no chain done ahead of time here. In this one, you can see a little bit of a difference on the bottom. And if I flip it up, you can see that there's a line of stitches, just as if you had finished your last row. They each have a different look, and it's really personal preference as to what you use with the project that you're working on. They both have benefits to them. And again, you get to choose. So it's always nice to have options. So we start by putting a slip knot onto our hook. So I just create a loop, fold it down, and pick up this cross bridge, and I've got my slip knot on my hook. Now we want to start with chain 2. So 1 and 2. Now we're going to go back into that first chain, and we're going to go under the first loop. And then you want to look here, there's a bump at the back. You want that loop on your hook as well. So now there's 2 strands on the hook in addition to this loop. You want to go yarn over and pull through those 2 strands only. So now you've got 2 loops on the hook. Then you want to go yarn over and pull through only one of those loops. This is the equivalent of the chain stitch. Now we have 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through both loops, and that's the equivalent of the single crochet. So remember, in foundation single crochet, you're working the chain and the first row of single crochet at the same time. So that's our first foundation single crochet. Now we want to go back into what we called that chain stitch. So not the 2 loops you just worked through, but you want to go back to this chain stitch, and you want to go under both loops of it. So the front loop and the back loop, you want them on the hook. Yarn over, pull the yarn through only that 2 loops. 2 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through one of the loops only. Again, you're creating the chain stitch. Yarn over, pull through both loops on the hook to create the single crochet. So now you have 2 foundation single crochet. So one more time, we want to go back to the chain stitch we created. So go past those 2 loops you just pulled through, back to what we call the stitch we just created. And we're going to go under both loops of it. You're going to wrap the yarn around and pull it through. Now try to stay loose at this point. You don't want it too loose, but you don't want it tight or it'll really pucker your foundation. So then we're going to wrap around and pull through just that one loop. I'm pulling down with this thumb and finger to create some space in here and to keep it loose. Now again, wrap the yarn around and pull through both loops on hook. So you're now creating your single crochet foundation. We've done 3 so far. We have our chain stitch going across the bottom and our single crochet row across the top. So keep working in that same manner for the number of stitches that your project requires. And when you're done, you'll have the beginning chain and the first row of single crochet completed.